Did you know that humans are the only species that communicate through language, yet we still can't figure out how to tell our partners we're upset without starting World War III? It's remarkable, isn't it? This brings us to the crux of our discourse today. Communication. Not just any communication, though. We're talking about the kind that bridges the gap between Mars and Venus. Yes, we're talking about the 5 key tips on how to communicate effectively with women. So buckle up and let's delve into the world of effective communication. Tip number 1, guys, listen more, talk less. Yes, you heard it right, listen more. I know it's a tough one, but trust me, it works wonders. Now let's get into the heart of the matter. Active listening, my friends. It's not just about being hush while she's talking, it's about really tuning in. You know, like how you focus when you're trying to catch the final score of the game on a static-filled radio. That's the level of commitment we're talking about here. You see, women are like radio stations broadcasting on multiple frequencies, and you've got to adjust your dial to catch all the signals. And no, the mute button doesn't count. Here's a classic scenario. She's telling you about her day, and you're nodding along while mentally sorting your fantasy football team. Suddenly you hear, "So, what do you think?" And you're caught like a deer in headlights. Familiar? That's because you were physically present, but mentally absent. Active listening is about being present, being engaged. It's about picking up the subtle cues, the unspoken words, the emotions behind the story. It's not about waiting for your turn to speak. It's about understanding her perspective. And here's a secret, guys. When you genuinely listen, it shows that you care. And nothing, I repeat, nothing is more appealing than a man who cares. So remember, next time she's talking, zip it and lend your ear. You'll be surprised at what you might learn. Moving on to tip number 2, empathy, gentlemen. No, it's not a new brand of aftershave. Now, empathy might sound like a lofty term, something you'd hear in a psychology class rather than a friendly chat. But let's break it down. Empathy is simply the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It's like being a mind reader, minus the mystical powers and the fancy hat. Why is empathy so important, you ask? Well, it's a crucial ingredient in the recipe for effective communication. Imagine trying to make a cake without flour. You might end up with a sweet, gooey mess, but it certainly won't be a cake. Similarly, communication without empathy might be well-intentioned, but it lacks the depth and understanding that empathy brings. Empathy is like your secret decoder ring. It helps you decipher what the other person is feeling. And when you understand those feelings, you can respond in a way that shows you care. It's like watching a movie with subtitles. You might get the gist without them, but with them, you understand every word. So, how do you cultivate empathy? Think of it as walking a mile in someone else's shoes. You might not have lived their experiences, but you can imagine what it might feel like. And that, my friends, is empathy in a nutshell. So next time, try putting yourself in her shoes. It'll change your perspective. But don't literally put on her shoes, they probably won't fit. Tip number 3, clarity. Because "I don't know, what do you want to do?" isn't working anymore, gentlemen. Now we've all been there, haven't we? You ask her where she wants to go for dinner and she says, "Oh, wherever you want, honey." So you suggest your favorite steakhouse, and suddenly she's a vegetarian. Or worse, she just doesn't like steak. So what went wrong? Well, you weren't clear, my friend. You see, when we say, "I don't know, what do you want to do?" what we're really saying is, "I don't want to make a decision." And let's be honest, that's not very helpful, is it? But don't worry, we've got a few tricks up our sleeve to fix this. Instead of asking her what she wants to do, why not come up with a couple of options yourself? Say, "How about we go to that new Italian place downtown? Or we could try the sushi place you've been talking about." See what we did there? We've given her a choice, but we've also shown that we've been listening to what she likes. Clever, right? And remember, the clearer you are, the easier it is for her to understand what you're trying to say. Because let's face it, we're not all mind readers, are we? So remember, be clear, be specific, and no, whatever you want, honey, isn't specific. Tip number 4, positivity. Because no one likes a negative Nancy, or in this case, a pessimistic Paul. Picture this, you're on a lovely dinner date. You're looking sharp, she's looking stunning. But instead of focusing on the delicious food or her radiant smile, you're grumbling about how the waiter got your order wrong. A tad off-putting, isn't it? Now let's flip the scenario. What if you laughed it off, saying, "Well, always wanted to try the mushroom risotto. That, gentlemen, is the power of positivity. It's not about ignoring the negatives, but rather about finding the silver lining, even in the cloudiest of situations. A positive tone can turn a simple conversation into an enjoyable experience. It's like adding a dash of sugar to your morning coffee. It makes things sweeter, more palatable. So remember, when communicating with women, your words matter, but your tone can set the stage. A positive attitude can open doors to effective communication and stronger connections. So, keep it positive, gentlemen. Your attitude might just become contagious. And finally, tip number 5, timing. Because timing is everything, and no, I'm not talking about your golf swing. Choosing the right time to communicate can make the difference between a meaningful conversation and a disastrous misunderstanding. Imagine this. You've had a long day at work and you're just about to sink into your favorite recliner when your partner decides it's the perfect time to discuss vacation plans. Suddenly, that recliner doesn't seem quite so comfy, does it? Or maybe you've had an amazing day and you're ready to share every single detail with your partner. But they've just walked in from a stressful day at work. Your excitement quickly deflates like a sad, forgotten party balloon. Timing is a dance, a delicate balance of knowing when to step forward and when to step back. It's about understanding your partner's rhythms and moods and choosing the right moment to communicate. So the next time you want to discuss something important, pick your timing wisely. And no, halftime during the game is not the perfect time. Lastly, if you found these tips helpful, consider subscribing for more videos on improving relationships. Remember, communication is key in any relationship, so let's work together to enhance our connections. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.